Maybe aesthetic and comfort don't always go hand in hand.
Let's crank hogs. I tossed him the keys to my Sportster, so he's been cranking my hog. Kind of a weird feeling hearing my own bike riding next to me. I'm out cranking hogs here with a good friend of mine. We went to high school together and kind of went separate ways, but every now and again his job takes him out where I live, and today he's out here. This is my friend Chris.
Nice to meet you all.
I tossed him the keys to my Sportster, so he's been cranking my hog. I'm just kind of curious what your thoughts are about this bad unit.
It's pretty sweet. It's got a lot of torque, 1200 cc's. It's lightweight. It's a lot of fun, comfy to ride. Much better than my my crotch rocket that I got. I ride this for hours.
Yeah, they're definitely not as fast as like a crotch rocket or an adventure bike, but it's a totally different style of riding. Like you're kind of lean back and a little bit more comfortable.
It's a comfy bike, that's for sure. It's loud. You definitely need some earplugs. It's probably not a great idea to ride it for 30 minutes with no earplugs. I'm kind of ringing a bit, but that's my own fault.
Yeah, you might need hearing protection for these. So we finally got an evening where it's not pissing down rain, and it's a pretty rare situation where I'm actually able to get both my bikes out at the same time. It's kind of a weird feeling hearing my own bike riding next to me, and it kind of gives, yeah, it for sure gives me a little bit of perspective on how loud that thing is. Like when you're riding on it, all the sound is behind you, so it's not really a thought. But I can definitely tell when you're riding up next to me, like it's absurd. There's not too much done to that bike in the sense of performance aside from just an intake, exhaust, and a fuel tuner, and just, I don't know, a couple small touches that don't really need to be mentioned. But also, Chris here is running my snowmobile helmet, but it is DOT approved.
Unfortunately, I need a fishbowl to put on my head, and Zach's got a pretty tiny dome here.
Yeah, homie's got a big melon, thick dome. He doesn't normally have a hog to crank, so he's cranking. What do you have?
I have a 2014 BMW R9T, and I also have a 1974 BMW R80 that I've turned into a bobber. It's a bit of a project. It hasn't been running in 3 years, so.
Okay, so my audience tends to be like mainly Harley guys. Yeah. So could you explain like what kind of bikes those are?
The R9T is the first year they came out with it. It's kind of a cafe-inspired BMW. It's a sport touring bike. Has the same motor and drivetrain that's in the BMW 1250 GS that Ewan McGregor and Charlie Borman drove around the world in the long way around. So it's 115 horsepower, give or take, 1200 cc, a lot of torque, a lot of fun.
That's definitely enough to get in trouble.
It is, yeah. It's got a top speed of about 220.
These bikes are more or less geared towards just kind of burbling down the highway and going from bar to bar. Wow.
It's honestly, it's very similar to this bike in that like it's got torque throughout the whole power band. It's not like sport tuned like a BMW S1000 double R is, but it's got a lot of torque all through every gear. It's just a lot of fun.
Oh, we got some company.
Mustang guy.
Yeah, big Mustang guy. We better jump behind the barriers.
Yeah. Remember I almost bought one of those?
Yeah, actually, was that the year before the 5-liter came out? Or
no, it was the year the 5-liter came out.
Okay. Yeah, that sales.
Instead.
Yeah, that sales guy did not like us. I think maybe we'll get out of the bugs here. We'll hop back on the bikes and hit the highway. And I'll try to get a couple rollers of you going on the Sportster here.
Absolutely.
All right, let's crank hogs. honestly had no idea how loud that bike actually is until I rode next to it, and that it's just borderline belligerent. How's that helmet working out? That's like the most miserable helmet ever.
Oh yeah. I mean, it'll keep me alive if I'm having a bad day.
Yeah, that was a $200 snowmobile special. Oh, my buddy just found on the ground here. It looks like a kind of looks like a letter opener. Yeah, we just found like this pile of burnt up crap here. Yeah, there's a book there. It says something like "I will always love you" or something. Yeah, bad day to be a book, I guess. Oh, we have some. Yeah, speaking of crank and hog. Yeah, people like to come out here and throw their garbage in the ditch because they're pieces of, you know what. Exactly. Some garbage from garbage. Well, I think it does look like Walter White's up there. Well, there's some pretty colorful things that are actually written on the sides of some of those trailers. Oh, mosquito just drew some blood out of me. Arsehole. Yeah. I think like 10 years ago, one of those trailers was actually on fire. And everybody from it was like a big spectacle. Everybody from town came out to watch the trailer burn. It was the big thing out here. I believe that they paved all of this back when oil was booming, and I'm pretty sure that this was supposed to be a neighborhood that never actually came to fruition. I don't know if they'll ever end up building out here, but for now it's a burnout pad for high school kids. And as far as I know, the cops leave everybody alone out here because there's no houses that are close by, and the only people that are going to get hurt are the people that are like friggin' around. So yeah, at least cops are nice about that. I mean, we did go past the cop earlier this evening, and we weren't really going grotesquely fast over the speed limit, maybe like 10 over, but I did get kind of sketched out just because I've been pulled over a couple times in the past year. So I don't want another ticket on my record. Well, actually, since I got my CX-5, I find I'm driving a lot more responsibly.
Is that the one that the dealer changed all the fluids for you?
Yeah, that's the one. Man, these bikes look pretty cool. I don't know if you noticed, but when we were coming up like that big hill, right before that big sweeping turn, the sunset that was going on, man, it was beautiful.
Trying to see if it pokes through the trees over there right now, just as it's going down.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the country's on fire, and all the smoke in the atmosphere makes the sun look really pretty, even though it's not actually.
Yeah. At least it's not raining. It's not that fiery here right now. So, how was your first? This was the first time you rode one of these bikes on the highway, right?
Well, I came out here to visit a couple years ago, and you brought the bike to come see me as soon as I got on the ground.
Well, I mean, you did, like, you only rode it around the street. Like, yeah, this is like your first full evening.
I've taken it up this street and back a couple times here, but this was the first actual Harley ride that I've done. And
well, I'll check the mileage on my bike here, and we'll see how far we actually went this evening. So we rode just under 62 kilometers. Like, we'll probably be at 62 by the time we get back to the house. So, I mean, you had a little bit of highway, a little bit of back road, and some serious hog cranking.
Yeah, honest opinion, very fun to ride, comfortable, torquey, love the power. 1200 on this small bike is a lot of fun. I'm assuming this is an aftermarket seat you got here, Zach.
Yeah, that's I believe it's I know it's a Lepera, yeah, but I think it's a Lepera Cherokee. Okay. And I think they're somewhere around like $800 to $1,200 depending on like what finish you want on it.
It's a fun seat. After a while, it was getting a little firm on the tailbone, I would say.
Actually, kind of a fun fact about Lepera is I did read this on Reddit. Apparently, Lepera is the last company that actually hand makes the seat pan. I think Saddlemen, they just started doing like injection molds or like prefab molds or something, but Lepera still apparently does like their own hand done seat pan.
Right. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. It does get a little bit hard on the arse after a little while.
Usually aesthetic and comfort don't always go hand in hand.
No,
choosing one or the other. It's like move the slider one way, the other one goes down.
Yeah, it's either built for speed or it's built for comfort. Yeah, that's right. There's not really much in between.
It looks awesome, but this isn't the kind of bike you want to be cruising for hours on end. This is more bombing around town, going out for a Sunday weekend cruise with your buddies. If you want to do the highway cruising, that is the bike to ride right there.
Yeah, the street glide is definitely a much more smooth ride on the highway. There's definitely like some instances where I wish that I'd be on the Sportster instead of the street glide. Like if I'm just kind of bombing around town, the Sportster is incredible. I am way too afraid to ride the street glide down a gravel road, but that Sportster, I do not care. I'll spin the tire all the way through third, fourth gear if I can, going down a dirt road. It's just, I don't know. That thing, a lot of people forget. The Sportster pretty much is like the original sport bike. And everything else just kind of evolved from that. And everybody knows how much Harley likes to innovate and evolve their stuff. They haven't really done so up until recently, and even then it's still arguable. But
one of my first bikes was a Honda CB550 in 1977. And just looking at this Harley, you can see like bits of that bike in it, like how those sport bikes were kind of back in the day based off of what Harley-Davidson was doing, where the oil tank placement is. It's very similar in a way.
There's so Honda actually pissed Harley off really good in I think it was the 90s or the early 2000s. So Honda, they're trying to compete with Harley-Davidson, and honestly, I think that Honda's the superior machine. It's much more refined. It's just, you're paying for the pedigree. You're paying for the name. But Honda, they had the Shadow Ace, I believe is what it was, and they pretty much like they nailed the sound of the Evo engine, and Harley tried to sue them over the sound. Harley tried to copyright the sound. Oh, wow. The lawsuit ended up getting squashed, but yeah, it was pretty funny.
That's pretty wild. Have you ever heard of the Honda CB250RR from the early 90s?
Was that a two-stroke?
It was a four-stroke 250 made in Japan that could rev up to like 19,000 RPM. It sounded like an F1 car. It made 45 horsepower, and they didn't make very many of them, but I guess there was a lot of problems in Japan with licensing and insurance for young drivers. If it was under 300cc, I think you get your license like a year or two earlier. So Honda and all these bike companies were competing to make like the best under 300cc engine, and Honda came up with something incredible. Instead of using like push rods, it's all like mechanical. Like I can't explain the engineering behind it, but it revs like just something stupid.
Oh yeah, and revs equal fun.
That's exactly it. It sounds like you're having fun. It doesn't look like it on the ground, but it sounds like it, and that's half the battle.
Well, the old saying is it's more fun to drive something slow fast than something fast slow.
Exactly. And that's exactly what that bike inspired to be.
I can hear someone out cranking the sport bike on the highway. Hopefully he lays into her a little bit.
I'll tell you what, I myself, I live in Ontario. I lived in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan for 5 years. That's when I started riding. I rode vintage bikes out there. There was no turns out there. I don't know how anyone could ride a crotch rocket in a straight line all day long.
That's why I sold my R6 when I moved out here.
Yeah, now that I live in Ontario, I got the BMW, and there's like actual turns to go on. So,
but man, that's one thing that I miss out here is just turns in the road.
yeah.
Like that trip that I just did to the mountains a couple weeks ago, it was like a kid in a candy store. All the turns in the road and just the elevation change. But I mean, there's benefits to being out here. That's not one of them.
Yeah, back in the Prairies, Zach would actually just spend an hour just going around the clover leaves just to feel something.
I've said it before, but out here you can watch your dog run away for like 3 or 4 days.
It's true.
So I think we're gonna call the video here. We're gonna finish up our visit, but thanks for tagging along, and I hope you enjoyed your ride on the bike.
Thanks for having me. I had a blast.
Yeah.
I always love riding on 2 wheels.
All right, so that's gonna do it for this week, and as always, thanks for watching the video. See you guys next week, and take care.